Here's another pyramid that we're going to try and find the surface area for. Now, first things first, let's just remind ourselves of some of the more important things when you're working through stuff like this. Number one, try and stay organized with your work. Try and show work, which means actually writing down the formulas, trying to show substitutions, that type of stuff, and that will help, of course, connects to your organization, because especially when the things get more complicated and larger and that type of thing, it's the organization and showing work and trying to have structure with how you lay out your solution is going to be really, really, really important. Okay. We also want to make sure that we have inventory of our sides and stuff like that to make sure we have all the dimensions that we need. For example, a rectangle down here, I got the length and I got the width. That's no problem. For this triangle, I've got the height, which is something I'll want. For this triangle on this side, which is different than the other side, is I don't have the height. So I know I'm going to actually have to try and find the height. And that's where my Pythagoras is going to kick in. So show work, try and be organized as best you can. Do it one step at a time. Don't try and do too much. So just try and do just one shape at a time, and then see how it links to other things, and don't try and do too much at once. Okay, so we're going to start with something nice and simple. I'm just going to start with my rectangle and try and find the area of that, because that's nice and easy. So that's just the bottom. So I've got a rectangle, and I actually like to draw shapes for the parts that I'm actually using. So of course the area would just be the length times the width. I've got the length is 11, the width is 4, so 4 times 11, that's 44 kilometers squared. So that's really, really simple. And 44 kilometers squared, that's a pretty massive pyramid. Okay, so now we can look at the triangles. I'm going to start with the triangle that's on the side, this side triangle right here. And I'm going to find the area of that guy. So the area for that would be base times height divided by 2. I've got the base, that's 4. I've got the height at 10.5. So I can multiply those two together and just divide it by 2. And that will give me an area for the triangle of 21 kilometers squared. Now, of course, this side matches up to the side on the other half of the pyramid. So I'm just going to double that. And I've got then 42 kilometers squared for my two triangles put together. Okay, so now I'm going to do my last shape, which is the wider triangle. So that's the front and the back type face, which is, again, area is base times height divided by 2. I have the base is 11, but I don't have the height, and this is where I'm going to have to use a little Pythagoras in order to find the height. So if I just redraw just half of the triangle, I know that part there is 10.7, that's my hypotenuse. I know this bottom part's not going to be 11, it's going to be half of that, so that's 5.5. And then I can use my Pythagoras in order to figure out what the height would be. So this has to be my C side. This can be A or B, it doesn't matter. And then I'll solve for B. So of course, A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. Good old Pythagoras you guys have been doing for a while already. I think first grade 9 for sure, possibly grade 8. And we can use that to figure out how to solve for our right triangle height using Pythagoras. So got my C value of 10.7, I'll square that, I'll subtract my 5.5 squared, get the answer, and then I will root that answer to get my value for B. And this gives me a B value of 9.2 kilometers. So that would be the height of my other triangle. All right, so I've got my base, I've got my height. My base is 11. My height is 9.2. I'll multiply them, divide by 2, and get the area for my triangle. And this gives me about 50.6 kilometers squared. Now, of course, once again, I have got 2 of those on either side. So I'm going to double that and get 101.2 kilometers squared all together. All right, now I've got all my pieces. I've got the bottom, which is 44. I've got my 2 smaller triangles on the ends, and double that, so that's 42 for that. And then I did the front and the back as well. I'll just round that probably to 101. So we got a couple of those guys. So all I have to do is put those three things together and I will have my total surface area. So I've got 44 and 42, which of course is 86. 86 plus 101 would give me 187 kilometers squared altogether, and that would be the approximate surface area of my pyramid.